Para comenzar el segundo bloque, damos la bienvenida a Ariel Huenuqueo, Katina Osorio, Sandra Tapia, quienes actualmente cursan su último semestre de la carrera de Pedagogía en Inglés en la Universidad de Playa Ancha. Ellos nos presentan Toni Morrison Beloved, The Emergence of Communal Senses Afro-american Identity. Recibámoslos con un gran aplauso, por favor.
Well, good afternoon. My name is Sandra Tapia. My classmates Ariel Huenuqueo and Katina Osorio, and we are finishing our teaching program in University of Playa Ancha, Valparaiso. This brief presentation, the emergence of a communal sense of Afro-American identity, is part of our final thesis project. And this research resulted from a yearning to explore a field of study which we believe deserves further development and attention in our local academic context, which is Afro-American literature. More specifically, we worked with the internationally acclaimed novel Beloved by Toni Morrison. She is the first African-American writer who received a Nobel Prize for literature in 1993. Some of her notable works are there: Blessed Eyes, Sula, Song of Solomon, Tar Baby, and of course Beloved in 1987. This research is concentrated on the construction of identity and preliminary conceived as a process. This experience incarnates itself in Sethe, the main female character of the novel, who kills one of her babies, one of her daughters, to prevent her from a life of slavery. And this novel is based on a true story. We want to remark that we selected Beloved as the primary source because of the way it problematizes the philosophical concept of identity. From a distinctly African perspective, and when this perspective is confronted with the Eurocentric version of the self, a new figuration of identity appears. And what this novel offers is a new possibility of understanding and appreciating another figuration of identity, that it is intimately connected to transformation and fluidity. And the main aspects that we will consider during these presentations are the relationship between the past and the present through reminiscences and memory, the motherly connection between Sethe and her daughter Beloved, and the rehabilitation of the communal body.
Thank you. Hello everyone. Well, first of all, to contextualize Toni Morrison's novel with our research, it's very important to understand some main topics developed by Emmanuel Levinas. And these concepts are related, of course, to identity. So, please, he's Emmanuel Levinas. And there are two main concepts, as I said. The first one is totality, which is the system ruled by white supremacy, in this case, in our context, which influence the way of perceiving life and the world. This is an egotistical subject-object relationship that segregates minorities. So we have here some people, the whites, who have the power and they have social control. And on the other hand, we have the infinity, which is a subject-subject relationship which allows to share our individual essence, also to construct the dialogue and pluralism of different other ways of being. So in totality, in infinity sense of identity, this allows an encounter face-to-face between subjectivities, between people. So here there are no prejudices, any prejudices at all. So we can share of the otherness, the other ways of being, and we accept the way they are. Okay, so there is a social trauma of slavery in Black community that has chased them a long time, and has been impossible to eradicate it from global community. This trauma, obviously, has molded their understanding of life and above all, the formation of their identity. So, society, please. Yeah, please. Society and environment play the most important role in the formation of an identity. This obviously entailed to perceive blacks as mere objects. They were perceived as objects. In some cases, even they were treated as mere as animals, and in some cases, even inferior than animals, as we are going to see in the following slide. So we have here a slave worker, which is Paul D, and he said in the book, so his master, his owner, was allowed to be in a state what he was, but I, Paul D, wasn't allowed to be in a state what I was. Even if you cook him, you'd be cooking a rooster named Mister. But wasn't no way I'd ever be Paul D again, living or dead. A school teacher changed me. And I was something else, and that something was less than a chicken sitting on the thumb of a tube. So if you can notice, he perceives himself differently from his master, differently from animals, in this case, from a chicken. So Toni Morrison argues along Black Matters, an essay book she wrote, that for most bright thinkers, the ability to read and write was a division that considered if someone had to be treated like a human or not. And because of this, if you notice, a vicious cycle is produced by the lack of social insertion, because it is suggested to learn and write in order to be treated like a human or not, but there are inexistent options of formal education for those minorities. So, an educated black community was harmful to understand their environment, and preventing them to master the understanding of life by the use of letters makes it even harder to understand their own self-identity. So, additionally, to this overwhelming reality, it must be considered how totality sense of identity described by Emmanuel Levinas described how the relations were managed inside the plantation. So the black community was subjected to a form of life submitted to the needs and benefits of their masters. So the only ones who were improving their lives according to this lifestyle, there was just the whites. So, and the others, on the other hand, the ones who had to suffer this legalized abuse were the black community. So, most of the slaves were born inside crowded plantations, where they were raised under a unique vision of the world. This vision of the world, as I said, is totality, the totality sense of identity. And they understood that they had to be treated like that. They had to be treated in that way because they were born as slaves. They were born as such. And it was infeasible. It was impossible for them to understand any other understanding of life because they were born as such. It was impossible for them to understand it because they didn't have any access to learn, to study, and they accept it like if it were something normal, something usual. Okay?
Okay. We want to present the achievement of this communal sense of identity as a process, as a path, from totality to infinity. I can do that. Okay. However, in the middle of this journey, Sethe needs to reconstruct her own subjectivity. And she needs to find herself in a no place, okay? So she can give her and her family the opportunity to be free for real. According to this research, subjectivity is seen as the personal realization of that my existence depends on the existence of the other, that my place in the world is in the reflection of the other, as a mirror, okay? I am defined as a subjectivity, as a singular person, as an I, precisely because I'm exposed to the other. And each person is free and independent. and the encounter between two unique identities occurs only with the benefits of sharing the essence with the other. There is no subject-object relationship in the no place, in the infinity. Consequently, this realization leads us to the no place, which is the place we inhabit after we release ourselves from totality's dominance. In the page 236 of the novel, we see the following quote. If I hadn't killed her, says this, if I hadn't killed her, she would have died, and that it's something I could not bear to happen to her. Morrison transforms what we know as a morbid crime into a literary device that breaks all Eurocentric visions of the good and evil, of what we know of good and evil. The author plays with the parameters that govern the order of the world and teaches us that through death, freedom can be reached. This act of modern attire comes to break all conventional idea of morality and ideological structures of society shattered, disappeared. Being in the no place means then that Sethe is willing to exceed every limit established by society. For Sethe, death is not the end of life, but a life of slavery. In this sense, killing beloved represents an act of true unconditional motherly love. For Morrison, the relationship between Sethe and beloved is crucial to exemplify the deeply encounter in otherness, understanding otherness as the subject-subject relationship. However, more importantly, with the development of some theories in our investigation, we come to the conclusion that for Morrison, from the relationship of two people, it is possible to extract the voices of an entire community. So, let's analyze the following quotation. Okay. I hear chewing and swallowing, and laughter it belongs to me. She is the laugh, I am the laughter. Her face comes through the water, a hot thing. Her face is mine. I go in the grass, opens, she opens it. I am in the water. I'm loving my face so much. My dark face is close to me. She whispers, she touches me. I come out of blue water. I need a place to be. The air is heavy. I'm not dead. I'm not. The sun closes my eyes. When I open them, I see the face I lost. Now we can enjoy a hot thing. This powerful passage gives us a rich metaphorical language which demonstrates the author's effort to bring to light the voices of those 60 million and more Morrison dedicates her work, who could not speak for themselves. In her monologue, this is a monologue, Beloved gives different images that allow to transport us to a crucial period in the Afro history. The central idea that we find after deconstructing this text is that Beloved acts as a representation, as the incarnation of the Africans who died because of the poor conditions they lived during slavery. Finally, another important symbolism that we find here is the presence of water and the fact that Beloved crosses this water realizes a change of life and form. Here we see Africans crossing from their homeland, from Africa to America, their grass which opens to America, from freedom to slavery in America. And this quote is the best representation to understand how a communal sense of identity is built. Yes?
Okay, so in this part, we'll focus on the construction of an Afro-American identity, passing from the character of Beloved as a fundamental agent in the formation of a Black community and the reactions that she provokes in the lives of some of the protagonists. Besides, we focus on and we cover one of the best representations of the African-American identity, the signifying monkey. Okay, in this part of our work, we can state that Beloved represents a duality for the community. Why? On one hand, this girl epitomizes the tormented past that returns with the purpose of reminding the characters the traumatic experiences that they have to come through in the early years. So in this sense, she incarnates the concept of totality as she embodies all the bad memories and the all traumatic experiences that slaves have to come through. Okay? So on the other hand, according to the connection of this girl and a new sense of identity, we can say that Beloved incites the characters to confront their memories, accepting the consequences that this might bring to their present lives. So this psychological process helps the characters to confront their past and memories, making them free from their minds and their haunting past, and free from those who still live in the oppressive totality. So Beloved is the bridge to open their hearts and to reach the infinity, okay? So we can perceive this the duality of Beloved in the next quotation of Paul D's between the encounter of Paul D, an slave, and the character of Beloved, where she said, "When he heard the door open behind him, he refused to turn and look. 'What do you want in here?' 'I want you to touch me on the inside part and call my name.' Paul D never worried about his little tobacco tin anymore. It was rusted shut. He just looked at the dark can silvery in moonlight and spoke quietly. 'You have to touch me.' What he knew was that when he reached the inside part, he was saying red, red hot." Okay, so in this crucial moment, we can perceive that the author reveals the connection between the character of Beloved and the construction of a communal identity embodied by the figure of Paul D, whom as a slave man oppressed all his memories and all his past in this little tobacco tin. So in one sense, we can say that Beloved helps Paul D to release from the past, and he now can expose his life. Okay, so we also can explain this duality and this encounter with this quotation of Paul D, who says, I know you think I never liked her, no how, but she's doing it to me, fixing me. See, she's fixing me and I can break it." Okay, we can see that in this part, Beloved serves as an agent of Paul D's later change of attitude, as he now can expose his emotions, and he now can share the love with the woman who he thinks he loves. Yeah? So now Paul D is free. Okay. So continuing with our presentation, we can say that one of the aspects that best represent the Afro in the novel is the concept of the artifact of the signifying monkey. So according to Gates, the figure of the monkey is part of the African roots and has its origins in slavery. Okay? So this playful monkey, this playful animal, manipulates what he takes, then reformulates to later make a new version of it, right? So, for example, in this quotation of Paul D at Sweet Home, we can see that we can see the trickful way the slave found in order to escape from this repression. And it says, they danced over the fields, through the woods, a trail that ended in astonishing beauty of feldspar. They sang it out and beat it out, garbling the words so they could not be understood, tricking the words so their syllables yielded up other meanings, right? We can observe here that the slave manipulate language, right? So in this particular case, they change and garble the words so in order to the master, the white masters, elders, could not understand what they sang. So this was also a way to a new form to communicate between the slaves, right? So also as a black writer, Morrison also uses this artifact, right? Present in the African-American literature. So she reformulates an historical fact that the historical case of Margaret Garner, a runaway slave who kills one of her children, and then so later on Morrison uses this artifact to reformulate this historical fact. Then we as readers read the novel again, and then we give a new meaning to the history. So next. So Morrison and the readers alike become also signifying, right? So that is the end of our presentation. So thank you very much. If you have any comment or a question or
Does anybody understand anything we said?
En la parte del PowerPoint, cuando hablaban de un procedimiento literario. Un procedimiento literario. No lo escuché bien. ¿Cuál? ¿Podrían explicarlo más o menos?
¿El signify monkey?
No, anterior. Hablan de un literary device. Un procedimiento literario.
El acto dentro. ¿Podemos contar las años? El acto de asesinar a la hija. ¿Lo hago yo?
No,
Este, como el infanticidio, dentro de la obra, como está expuesto, lo transforma en un literary device. En español, ¿cómo es? Un artefacto literario. Como que lo transforma. El hecho de que lo que nosotros conocemos como un asesinato, algo que nosotros penaríamos por la ley, Morrison lo transforma en un acto de amor, un acto de misericordia hacia su hija. A eso nos referimos.
Entonces eso después perdón. Entonces como la niña muerta, sería dentro de la liberación, hacer el complejo total del pasado de los africanos, de los antepasados. ¿Qué significa que la maten? Porque en el fondo, uno podría, versión simple, la matáis y te repetiste. Básicamente es esta cuestión no va a cambiar, más o menos así, bien fome, bien penca y prefiero que muera. Y estáis matando toda tu identidad y sufrimiento previo, que no es precisamente resolverlo, sino que más bien como rescindirlo.
Claro, es que existe esa dicotomía, porque uno es que se rinde y otro es como que quiere luchar, porque en la novela Beloved después vuelve reencarnado, vuelve de nuevo. Entonces ahí empieza, porque Sethe la mató sabiendo, de hecho hay otra cita, bueno, no entiendo, pero hay otra cita que Sethe dice que la mató sabiendo o con la esperanza de que iba a volver, que le iba a volver a ver.
Claro, que no es la esperanza cristiana de
totalmente.
No, puede encontrar libertad en la muerte, que está vivo, que parece igual. Que al morir yo me libero.
Claro. No es.
Bueno, y la reencarnación de este personaje también ayuda a la rehabilitación comunal de la identidad afro también en la obra. Sí.
Muchas gracias, chicos, que se nos acabó el tiempo, está cerrando nuestro siguiente expositor.
Ay, no,